Alright everyone, welcome to today's recap. I hope you all are doing well and staying blessed. If you guys are new here, my name is Jeremiah and I'm a small cap day trader. Today is a green day, but as you guys can tell by the title, today I overtraded a little bit and I'll go into what I was thinking and why I think I fell into overtrading today. Anyways, the first trade I took was on CHNR. This stock has a flow of 550,000 shares. It did have news about a non-binding letter of intent to acquire a majority stake in Hurai Technology. I'm not sure how good that is or what that means, but it sounds good and it looks like it was well received. I saw it pop, or I didn't see it pop up. It actually popped up before I woke up. I woke up a little bit later today as the market's been colder, and I've been trying to get a little more sleep to just test out whether I have better decision making capabilities on more sleep. But anyways, the trade I took was here off of VWAP. I meant to get in as it dipped down to VWAP, or I meant to get in as soon as this next candle opens, but I got in a little high at 509, which it was okay. I was fine with it. The low of this candle was 502, so that was probably the best I would have gotten anyways. I was able to make 29 cents on that, so not a bad trade at all. And I could have sold it a little bit higher. Obviously, it just popped up 12 cents higher than where I sold it, or a little bit more than that actually, 17. But I was okay with that. It was a good first trade, 29 cents right out the gate. So then it continues to go higher, and I could have taken the trade here through 50 and rode the momentum all the way up to about 6 or the high of day even. And it ended up doing that, and I actually ended up getting a little too high. I was going for the break of 6 there. We got a quick pop and then sort of rejection, and that ended up being a loser for me. But realistically, I didn't really have a reason to sell it this first trade. I could have held it from 509 to so I could have sold at 586, and that would have obviously been a much better trade, closer to 78 cents or 77 cents of profit, which would have been nice, but of course, just something to keep in mind. We've been in a colder market, so I don't think selling was a bad idea in any capacity, but that brought me down to 50 cents in profit, so that was a little unfortunate. I gave back most of the profit I just made. And so this next trade I took here was the breakthrough the high of day. I got in really high. I sort of FOMO'd in, to be quite honest, but I figured retest of the high of day again will get a good move. And I didn't sell quick enough to get the most profit I could have, but popped up there and unrealized. Yeah, so it kept dropping as I was putting out my profit target. But not bad. 260 on that, or $2.10 from that trade. Unrealized, I was up like, let's see. I think $5 was the most I was up unrealized. Anyway, so about 50 cents on 10 shares. Would have been nice to get the full amount, but not a bad trade nonetheless. 20 cents, I'll take it. 21 cents. After this shooting star candle here, I was just like, I don't know if I should trade this. This is kind of not trustworthy anymore. I'll give it a second to prove that it wants to move again, but after this I was a little bit skeptical. So I attempted to take a similar trade to the one I took before. It closed at 47, literally right above VWAP, and then I got in. In fairness, this wasn't a good trade. Like, it had popped up above VWAP many times before this and then rejected. Obviously, this one slightly closed above, but really not convincing enough for me to justify taking this type of trade here. You can see the volume has been declining. These candles previously, this candle was only like 6 cents. This green candle was 6 cents. This one was probably like 7 cents. This one obviously like probably 2. This one like 1 or 2. So obviously the range had died down a lot from what it was here. And just looking at these candles here, this candle was 26, a 26 cent red candle. This one was probably also 26. So just looking at the risk to reward, the risk to reward was not there. The red candles were bigger than the green candles, so this really should have um, told me to not take that trade. And this is realistically, this is the backside of the move. We are on the backside of the move. We're under VWAP. Um, this wasn't very convincing of a pop back through VWAP. It's still below this previous level that it where it broke through VWAP and then also rejected. So not a good trade and not something I can say I should have taken in the first place, but I got punished and it was okay. I still had a little bit of profit, so that was all right. Okay, so the next stock I traded was SER. This stock has a flow of 5.25 million shares. The relative volume is 20,000% times what it usually is, so 2,000 times usual. CHNR's relative volume is 89,000% times usual, so 8,900 times what it usually is, if I'm doing my math correctly. But this thing was popping up at the open. We saw it pop up at during pre-market hours, but I didn't trade it because it was sort of thickly traded and there wasn't a lot of opportunity on it. And that's actually kind of still the same situation with it here. This is only 9 cents of a candle. This is probably 10. So not a lot of range, not a lot of profit potential, all things considered. So I really shouldn't have traded it. It was a little too cheap, and the range really wasn't that good on it, relatively speaking. So I don't know what my entry is, so that's why I put my headphones back on so I can see what I was saying in my stream. But we'll see right here. So yeah, I don't know what exactly my entry was here, but this is not one of the whatever it is. This is not one of the entries that I'm supposed to be taking. Um, yeah, not at all one of the entries I am supposed to be taking. So that gave back a majority of my profit there. I ended up taking one more trade and making back some, but I really probably should have just walked away. I should have walked away when I had the 260, $2.60. But obviously that trade at VWAP I foolishly took. I should not have taken that. So I got punished for that. So this next trade is also a trade I'm not supposed to be taking. It's a dip off of this daily level. And yes, it's not a bad setup, but it's not a setup I am supposed to be taking. Obviously, it's not working for a second there. It was a very risky trade for, especially not being that green on the day, like only being after that one loss being up 21 cents or something. So, and this would have frustrated me so. This would have made me so mad if I had actually gone red on this day because I had the whole day I had been green, and now finally at the open I'm trading a lower quality setup out of frustration and wanting to make back what I had lost previously. Uh, and all that would have been just for nothing. So that would have been really frustrating. And I think I held this longer than I should have, but obviously with emotions in place, that was not something that was at the forefront of my mind. And I'll just fast forward it for you guys because we kept seeing resistance at 27, but it finally broke through 27. And then, or I don't know if it was at 27 or where it was, but so it popped up there. That wasn't really a very convincing pop for the second candle, so I sold it. Um, and that was the last trade of the day, putting me in the green 97 cents. So a green day, nonetheless. I'm grateful. This is the best case scenario that could have happened after over trading. I was taking setups that were not setups I'm supposed to be taking. I have a list of setups here that I I will allow myself to take, and obviously I did not follow that today. And I think something that I was thinking about today was if you would be mad about losing. You got to think about this before, or I have to think about this before I take every trade. If I would be mad about losing this, then I shouldn't take this because there's always a chance you can lose. If you would be mad about losing this, if this would like ruin your day if you lost this, you should not take it. This trade, these last two trades, if I went red on them and I went from green on the day to red, that would have just completely, it would have hurt my confidence. It would have probably ruined my day. And I know I shouldn't let that influence my day or my confidence or anything like that. But I think for momentarily that would really frustrate me. Um, and these last two trades were just out of pure revenge trading for making back what I had lost. Sort of desperation. I was taking setups that I'm not supposed to take, and I was trading on a stock that I'm probably not supposed to be trading either. But anyways, I'm grateful to be green, and this is most definitely better than a red day. With that, I hope you all enjoyed. I hope you all found this helpful. And with that, I will see you all in the next one. Peace.